The fact the maps are good, most people are happy with that. Most of the guns in here, people are enjoying them too. It's fun to play it. It really was a big year for them. And the fact that they've been listening and more or less executing on the main parts that make Call of Duty good every year, it's definitely lent into the success of it. I do see a lot of people saying they're just not feeling it and they're kind of burnt out. And I could totally get that because it's like, bro, you've had year after year after year after year of terrible games. And now you finally get one that's like pretty good. I get why people I just don't feel it. Like, yeah, it could be an okay game. Like, it's better than what we've had, but I'm ready to move on. And I understand that. But for you and me, like, we are the sycophants who just, yeah, we buy it every year. From what we've gotten so far, I think it's worthwhile to go and play it because it is really good.
Welcome everyone to episode 243 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, bro. I'm doing good. We had a good conversation about cars just a minute ago. People who listen, if you're buying a car, be smart about the car that you buy.
We're always talking about cars. Like, I feel like every couple months, like, we'll just talk about someone buying a car. And again, I'm gonna state, we have no right in whatever, like, how you spend your money. Spend your money however you want. But then
right.
You hear horror stories like afterwards of people, and you're like, did you need that Audi or BMW?
Right.
And like, we're already thinking about this like a couple years like beforehand, like before you even get the car, you know? So yeah, I mean, think a Honda will suffice.
I see people at my work, like, continue a little bit what you're saying is I see people at my work who drive like those new there's a couple of, legit, there's two people that have those they're like the Jeep trucks, you know?
Oh, the Jeep
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, which I'm not a fan of that car at all. I don't really like Jeeps, hot take maybe. I'm not like that crazy about them.
But if you're gonna get a truck, just get a truck.
Well, that's my thing. Yeah, I'm like, first off, you're kind of like in the halfway house of this, but some people just love Jeeps. Like like a lot of people just will always buy them. But man, those things ain't cheap. And I'm like, brother, you're buying this car, like, it's probably within a year or two. Like, why? Why are you buying that car at that price with the money that you make here? Like, there's no way. There's no way that you're in the green on this car. You know what I mean? When I see someone who's driving an older car, I'm like, okay, they can, like, you can't really question them. You're not going to dog them down. But especially too, like, when you have an idea, like you were saying with your guy there, like, how much they make relatively. You're just doing the math in your head. You're like, yeah, it doesn't add up. Like,
math doesn't work.
Chance. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, from our 27 years of like wise experience, let's just say, don't overpay for a car that you really don't need. Obviously, like, I think you and I both are pretty good at get what you want, but in a reasonable way. Like, especially for a car, you don't need to stretch for something that's going to get you from point A to point B. And like, all cars do that.
Right.
Get a nice car, but you don't need to go over budget.
Yeah, it's not worth it remotely, especially too, like we were saying, if you got to maintain, well, you didn't say got to, you have to maintain it, all that stuff. People don't really factor that in. But I have to tell you this. So over the weekend, I mean, I had a busy weekend. I didn't get much of a chance until Sunday. Like, we're doing this on our normal Monday, so it was on the 5th that I got to play some Black Ops 7. But so, dude, I had a show that I had to play Saturday night, and I was driving with my dad because he was going to go with me to this place, and I'm driving his car, and like, we're on like the back roads, like, it's, hills kind of everywhere, meandering, whatnot. And dude, this guy who's driving on the other side of the road, he comes over this hill, swerves into our lane. My dad's like, yo, stop. And I do. And I like swerve off to the right, like, or to the left, like, pretty heavily. Bro, this guy drives off the road through a telephone pole. Through it. Right on through it. Crashes to like two trees, like smaller trees. And then he crashes into like a decent sized tree. Bro, I've never actually witnessed a car crash like that happen in person. It was insane. It happened in like slow-mo. Just see, I was just like, oh man, there he goes. Like this is actually happening.
Yeah.
And again, dude, just drove right on through a telephone pole, bro. Psychotic. I mean,
What?
yeah, bro. I have no,
Dude.
and it's so crazy because I pull over to the side of the road and I'm just like, I was like with my dad. I'm like, I gotta call the cops right now about this.
Mhm.
Like they have, I gotta report this. So I called them. I'm never called, thankfully, never had to call 911. So
Mhm.
I'm like, hey, like this guy crashed here. The guy's like, where are you? And but this is kind of weird too. They ask where you are, and then he's like, okay, I'm getting your GPS pinned right from this location. I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, why'd you even ask me, dog? I'm like, you know exactly where I am. Um, so then he sent a cop down. My dad goes and he's like talking to the guy. And he's like, the guy on the operator, he's like, is anyone hurt? Like, can you tell if anyone's injured in the accident? I was like, well, there's one guy who's getting out of the car and he's yelling and screaming. And so I guess he's okay.
Mhm.
I mean, dude, he was in the middle of the road. He's like, fuck. Fuck. Bro, it was so funny. Bro, I'm trying not like,
Are
seriously.
you okay? You good? Okay. Start
Yeah,
laughing.
yeah, exactly. Like it was legit that comical of timing where I'm talking to the guy and I'm like, I get out of the car. My dad's already walking towards. He's like halfway down the road getting this
Yeah.
guy, and I'm still in the car. And he's like, is the driver? Can you tell if anyone's injured? And I just see this guy in the middle of the road, fuck, like screaming, and I'm like, yeah, he seems to be okay.
Yeah.
And I go over there and he's like, oh man, you look familiar. Do I know you? I'm like, no. Like, no, I don't know you at all. You okay? It's like, oh man. He's like, I can't believe the glare is ridiculous. He's like, I couldn't see where I was going. I know, and to his point, I was like, yeah, this when my dad and I were walking back, I'm like, yeah, glare is pretty horrible. But then we get in the car and my dad's like, the we're going this way and the glare's bad. He's like, there's no glare the other way. And I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, you're right. There's no
Yeah.
glare. I'm like, okay, whatever. So then I stay and I'm like, well, maybe we got to stay because the cop, they might want to talk to me or whatever.
Mhm.
Legit took like 10 minutes, which I think is a little insane. 10 minutes for a cop to show up, you
Mhm.
know?
Well, you are in the middle of nowhere. Like, won't
True.
say your
Like,
location, but
true,
you guys
true.
are in the
It was
woods.
like we were. I granted, I'll give you that. We were a little bit out, but we weren't that out. Like
Mhm.
where, oh yeah, you're not gonna see any homes. You know, like there
Mhm.
we were driving by plenty of homes and stuff. But at any rate, yeah, maybe I can see it. So I talked to the cop and I'm just like, hey, I reported this accident. I just want to make sure, like, do you need to talk to me or anything? And he's like, yeah, just tell me what happened. And I tell him, I said, hey, a guy was driving over here and he swerved off into my lane and then he drove right off into the woods, took out the pole and everything. And he's like, was there another car that was parked up on the, like on your side of the road? And I was like, no, there wasn't any car parked there. And the guy's like, oh, fuck. And the cop's like, yeah, well, that's what he's telling me. He's telling me there's another car parked there. And then I was like, well, I said, I didn't see a car there. And I said, he told me that the glare was bad. And the cop's like, yeah, but the glare's going the other way. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, you're all set, man. Take it easy. And I was just walking away. I'm like, oh, homeboy is cooked.
Yeah.
And talking to him, he didn't sound like he was drunk or high or anything.
Mhm.
He wasn't like stumbling around or anything. He was saying some weird things, but kind of par for the course. I'm like, I don't really take
Yeah,
that
yeah,
with
yeah.
much. I'm like, there's some weird people walking around, and he also just had a massive crash, like the adrenaline, and he must just be out of his mind.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm moving back to Florida. I'm gonna call the appropriate people. Like, I can't even fucking believe this happened. I'm just like, I was like,
That's it.
bruh.
That's one of those moments where you're like, oh my god, is everything okay?" And then the person is okay, and you just start laughing because, like, dude, how fast you have to be going to go
Well,
through a
yeah.
telephone pole and then hit trees, and also, what was he driving?
So he had like, okay, it was I can kind of see what he was talking about because it was one of those where it's like you're
Yeah, yeah,
going
you're
up
going
a hill and then
yeah,
you go left and it goes down a hill.
yeah.
So it can be a little weird, but I think honestly, I think he was on his phone. I think he was probably
Yeah.
going about 35, 40, which is
Mhm.
fast down those roads. I'm going like 25, 30. I'm
Yeah.
going slow because it's like, a deer can run out in the road or anything like that. But yeah, this guy he was cooking. And I could only imagine that he was on his phone or looking down at something. And then when he felt his car like do that,
Go down.
he's like, oh And like, then, but then to me, I'm like, dude, homie just accepted his fate. Like he just veered
Just
off.
kept
Like,
hitting the gas.
oh, he just drove off. And dude, it was amazing that like this a legit telephone pole. I can't believe he drove through that. It
Mhm.
must have been so dry rotted and old for him to just crash through that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, because yeah, he took it down. Thankfully, the thing didn't fall on his car, but all the telephone wires fell down on his car. And yeah, he was driving like what do you call him, like a Chevy, like a Highlander. I mean, that's probably the wrong car, but it's like one of those like a semi truck when it's got those like it has that bed in the back, but it's got like an actual dome to it, you
Oh, yeah.
know?
So it is a truck.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I would say an SUV, but like
Yeah,
SUV
yeah.
truck kind of a deal. Yeah, he wasn't driving no sedan or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
So pretty decent sized car. Yeah, dude, he just knocked through that thing, like snapped it like a toothpick.
Mhm.
It drove through it. Yeah. Oh, bro, I'll never forget that. He gets out of the car.
I, I won't go deep into this conversation because we got Black Ops 7 to talk
Yeah,
about.
we can talk about it.
And if you guys are already 10 minutes in, we appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We'll put a timestamp,
Good
skip to
story
this
though.
here. I've seen a car accident where it's like, I know what you mean. It just happens in slow mo. And it's just like,
Yeah.
the car accident wasn't bad or anything, but it was like the person's like just pulling out.
Yeah.
And then, for some reason, like some people, like it's whatever your instinct is. It's like you see a car coming at, like about to hit you. Some people hit the brake and stop.
Right.
Where, you're probably better off hitting the gas to go, and then you get like T-bone versus getting hit like on.
Right.
And I've seen someone like get hit like on. Like everyone was fine. But it's just like in the moment, it's just everything slow-mo, and you're like, what just happened? Like it wasn't even like a huge wreck or anything. It was they're going maybe like 25, if that. But
Yeah.
like 25 with just a car, like a huge vehicle, like
Right.
thousands of pounds, like colliding, and you just hear the sound of crushing metal.
Yeah.
Even going at 20, 25. Yeah, I know what you mean about seeing it in slow mo.
Yeah, it was very weird. So that was part of the experience. That was a long day. And then on top of that, I'm just like, yeah, I gotta go play the show. I'm running late. And then we witnessed a car crash. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna be a couple minutes late, talking to the cops. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it was
Well,
ridiculous.
while you're dealing with that, I was playing Black Ops 7.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I got a chance to play last night, and then dude, I'm telling you again, this morning, 5:30, got up.
Mhm,
I'm like, let me get a couple of games in. I mean, man, I'm really enjoying this game. I'm not even trying to I'm not even trying to rage bait people and
mhm.
say that I like, I don't like it or whatever. It's really, really fun. Especially too with a lot of the updates that we've had for because of our last episode when we talked about just our first impressions and a lot of things that were, that we really liked in the game and then things we wanted improved or for them to fix. Dude, they've been on it with the improvements so far during this beta, which has helped out the quality of it a ton.
Yeah, and it's still the open beta right now,
Mhm.
technically. Um, and so you guys are going to listen to this like a week in advance or a week after. So I mean, the beta is already going to be over. Hopefully, they've already announced the stuff that they're going to add. Like they're going to add 2 more maps, which that's great. They already added one new map, and the one new map was called Imprint.
Mhm.
It's like in the snow. I enjoyed that map. I played it all of last night,
Mhm.
and I enjoyed it. There are a couple of times where I'm like, "What the fuck is happening on this map, dude?"
Bro,
But the
that
weird like incline, yeah, yeah,
yeah, like having to press the button at the bottom.
yeah, yeah. But minus that part, I like the map. I prefer the other ones over Imprint, but playing the like different game modes on it, it was fun. And one big thing that we talked about last episode was the damn doors, dude. They remove doors, which I thought they would never do.
Yeah.
And like specifically last episode, we talked about Forge, like the left side where you go up top of the catwalk and then you're on
Mhm.
like that patio and then
Yeah.
going into the enemy's like window. They just got rid of those doors.
Totally gone.
And I'm like, this makes it so much easier.
Oh,
And on top of that, they increased the time the doors open, so they're open for much longer, and they're not like instant open close.
Yeah. And I also think too that maybe it's I mean, I kind of honestly forget what it was like before, but I feel like now it opens it opens sooner. Like before you had to get a lot closer to the door for it to
Yeah,
actually open.
yeah.
I feel like now even if I'm farther away it opens up, which is clutch too. Yeah, dude, this was a huge thing, and I'm when I was getting the timestamps for the last episode, we were talking about it. Like, yeah, they're probably not going to get rid of these doors and etc. Like, yeah, I think they're going to want to keep that stuff in there. But yeah, we're dead wrong. They went in again that area there, which that was a huge problem in Hardpoint. I played I didn't play last night, but I played during the day a little bit when I got back, and yeah, that I put Hardpoint on that map on Forge. Oh, it was so much better. Like,
Mm.
again, just the flow of that map is 1,000 times better. I didn't even say on all the maps, just the flow when you don't have to be worrying about those doors really getting in the way of your gunfights. It's again, in retrospect, it's a really small thing, but it has a huge impact on the game. Um, and I was really, really happy to see them make that change because everybody seemed to be complaining about that being a big problem with the maps. Everyone's like, we like the maps, but for the love of God, fix that. And thankfully, Treyarch, they swallowed their ego and their pride, and they were like, okay, we got to make this like this COD has to be the game that people like this year. So we got to listen to them. So let's take care of it, and they did.
Yeah, and which also just shows, I'm not going to say like how easy it is to do it, but the fact that they're able to do it this quick still in the beta is a
Yeah,
good sign. And even they got rid of the doors in the server room on Forge too, because that was just like a cluster the entire time, like,
right.
with those doors opening and closing. I do wish that you can throw a nade or whatever and it opens a door. It doesn't do that still, because I tested it and it just bounces right back at you. But the fact that they just removed doors, though, that's even better than what I expected.
Yeah, it was it was a big quality of the game that they just improved doing that. And I don't really know what it's from, like because I don't remember in previous CODs that they would really do a lot of big changes like this. I find that really interesting with this year in particular, because when I look back at other years, like they would do maybe some weapon balancing and stuff like that during the beta. Um, but dude, these are big changes that they're making. Like on the fly, they're really
Mm,
listening to people. And I mean, you think about it, it's within, 24, 48 hours that they're putting the game out, getting the feedback, and then they've got to go and make those changes.
mm,
They really seem to be on it with this game. And I think part of it is because of the pressure that this game's under. Um, I I said it before, and I know we've both said it on here. Like, this is a really big year for Call of Duty. Every year is a big year for Call of Duty. We probably go back to like our, Vanguard year, saying that this was like the pivotal year for them. Um, but it's in particular with because of Battlefield being around the corner too, and being a direct competitor to them. Um, you know, I'm sure that has some influence on them regarding the game, and I don't know what it's like regarding their the sales of the, or like what is it, the pre-orders
pre-orders.
on this game. I don't know how many people have pre-ordered it compared to previous years. Maybe that could be an influence, or like, hey, we're trying to, make this game as good as it can so people see it and hear about that and maybe get more excited about it. But for us, dude, this has been, I mean, so far so good. I really can't complain about this beta. It's been a massive success.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the comparison between Battlefield, people are still like shit talking the game, which I understand it's justifiable since the past couple of years of COD. Um, it's really hard to get casual players again into COD that have already jumped ship when year after year. Let's be real, like they just haven't implemented what people have wanted. They've just been missing the mark. But I saw that like on day one of the beta, it was like 75,000 like live players or something that were playing. But then I saw a stupid stat comparing to like the Battlefield beta. Not was it beta? Yeah, their beta.
Yeah.
Um, it was like 570,000 like live players. I'm like, that's just like you can't even compare that because like you didn't need to pre-order the game like to
Right.
play that, like we didn't have to pre-order. It was all free. And
Right.
then COD, like right, that was all early access. Like you had to pre-order the game. Now they're gonna have the open beta. Um, but even then, people are just trying to compare like numbers to push an agenda. But
Yeah, it's not fair, I don't think,
yeah, yeah.
personally.
And like, yes, COD, there are things that they can do better, obviously. And COD is COD's just different from like years ago. And it will always be different. Um, the old heads, like you and I, it's yeah, COD's like somewhat the same every year, but it's like you either gotta adapt to it to like what is new and like fresh now, or you're stuck back on like OG COD, which that's totally fine too. And if you're stuck on that, then um you're probably not playing the game that much anymore. But this
Right.
COD since 2019, like Treyarch is listening, and this is a fun COD. So I I think we're in for a pretty good year. Treyarch's listening. They're updating things that we want, and as long as they keep doing the support and having like all of uh the players backs, then we're in for a good year.
Yeah, I mean, look, when it really comes down to in Call of Duty, like I would say the vast majority of players, what they want is they want, good gunplay, they want good maps,
Mhm.
and they just like with a rank play system, they want a functioning rank play system too. And just not a lot of cheaters. I really say, and even like boiling it down, it's really just maps and gunplay that people want. Um, I think the model for Call of Duty over all these years has obviously it's worked. It's always been a top selling game. Um, but yeah, in recent years, I understand you know, the the frustration with the series because yeah, it has gotten quite stale and people haven't really been putting in the effort that the fans really want. I mean, we dealt with that last year with Black Ops 6. I mean, there's a lot of problems with that game that still haven't gotten fixed, especially on the rank play side with the cheaters. But again, with this year, and I could really just say this as like a standalone year. Um, Already from the beta, like all the maps that they've put out, which is a huge thing for me. Dude, these map like because they added the one that you were saying, they added Imprint, and then there was the Blackheart map and Toshiba. They added
Yeah,
those
those are
two maps
those
as
are coming
well.
for the open beta. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, those are so good too. Like I
Mhm.
like those maps. I'm not playing them being like, oh man, this one like this is a miss. This is a miss for sure. I'm like, man, these are all good too. Like, damn, there's no maps in here that I'm like, yep, skip immediately. Like this map
Mhm.
sucks. Um, and that was not the case with Black Ops 6. Like, no chance. Most of those maps, you had a handful of them, less than what this beta already has that were actually viable. So that's one thing already off the checklist. The fact that the maps are good, most people are happy with that. Most of the guns in here, people are enjoying them too. And again, it's just like it's fun to play it. Um, it really it really was a big year for them, and the fact that they've been listening and more or less executing on the main parts that make Call of Duty good every year. um it's definitely lent into the success of it. I do see a lot of people saying they're just not feeling it and they're kind of burnt out, and I could totally get that because it's like, bro, you've had year after year after year after year of terrible games, and now you finally get one that's like, you know pretty good. I get why people just are like, "Ah, I just don't feel it." Like, yeah, it could be an okay game, like, it's better than what we've had, but, I'm ready to move on, and I understand
Mhm.
that, but for you and me, like, we are the sycophants who just yeah, we buy it every year. It doesn't mean we don't play it all year. Like, don't it's not like last Black Ops 6, I wasn't absolutely gassed to be playing, all the time.
Mhm.
But yeah, I can see why people end up kind of falling off the cliff with it. But from what we've gotten so far, I think it would definitely be worthwhile to go and play it because it is really good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I understand the fans that have been burnt out, from COD because, like you said, year after year haven't been the best. But This one's good. The
It
the
feels
maps,
different.
you can tell that they've really focused on 3 lane maps. These
Yeah.
maps are all 3 lanes for sure. And I swear every map, it's like the colors and how vibrant they are similar to a lot of older maps from previous CODs. Like all of them that I've, played. Like when I play Forge, right? I think of I can picture the map. I don't remember that. It's from Black Ops 3, the one where Forma lost his 1v1. The snow stronghold, right?
Okay.
Stronghold.
Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna type in Black Ops 4 because there's another map that I want to talk
And
about that's related to it. But yeah, go on.
yeah, like it reminds me of Stronghold. Exposure in this beta, I like, are you in a desert? Is it a desert? It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
something like that. Yeah, I'd call it that.
That
Sure.
that reminds me of Solar from Advanced Warfare.
Yeah.
And then um what's the other maps? Imprint. When
Hmm.
they announced that reminds me of like a snow map from Black Ops 1. That they all look so similar in color and they just work.
Yeah, dude. And yeah, imprint to me is like frequency. Like,
Yeah.
it's got that vibe of frequency, like, with the, I think it's on the left side of the map where it had that, like, when you'd go
Yeah,
down
the
that lane, it
circle.
had that little circle there, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
got that kind of thing, and it's got its hub in the middle there,
Mhm.
right side of the map, yeah, it's totally different, but it's just little things like that, that they've sprinkled in from the other CODs into these maps, and I like that, because
Mhm.
I mean, man, those were great maps in my opinion. I really love those. So seeing not complete remasters, but seeing ideas from those maps that are being reused that are still good and they've again adjusted them for the wall bouncing, I'm all in for it. I'm like, yeah, this is great. Like most of those maps, um, they work with that movement too. Remember we
They're
talked
yeah,
about that in
they're
the last
designed for the
episode?
movement.
Yeah, like with the wall bouncing, they really did a good job of implementing that where yeah, it one like you have to use it in certain spots to get around. And in some spots it's definitely like a viable thing. Like when I was playing this morning, I was trying to use it way more. Like I'm trying to be this prick who's like when I go around a corner, I go to the wall and I jump
Jump,
into the
yeah.
wall and jump over. Oh yeah, I was piecing. I'm like, okay, this is definitely the move. Like doing this because no one expects it.
Mhm.
But yeah, most of the maps you're allowed to do that because I know they had that in mind when they designed them.
Yeah. And then like Cortex, like where the tubes are, that reminds me of Biolab.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
also it's
yeah,
like a
yeah.
mix of like Dome.
Right.
Just
Right.
like the smaller size maps. I don't know. These maps, it seems like they got inspiration from all the fan favorites and then made new maps off of that. Which,
Yeah.
yes, seems like common sense, but that wasn't like the past couple of years at all. Like
Right. And,
they took,
and that's the big thing.
yeah, they took like what do fans really like and what's in common from all these fan favorite maps. Let's try to recreate something like this. And yeah, to your point, it's still like it's still the beta, still new, but I'm not tired of any of these maps, and I'm not like skip this for sure. You know, like in Black Ops 6, I don't want to play Babylon. I'm tired of Babylon. I do not want
Don't
to
want to
play
play
it.
red card.
Yeah, and there's always maps like that you want to skip, but I think back to Cold War. We played through that entire year on like 7 maps, and it's been a while, but I can't think of any map there that was like an auto skip no matter what. Like we just hated it because the rest of the maps like grew on us. Like I remember we hated Armada Strike. I think that's what it's called.
Hmm.
But it
Yeah.
eventually grew on us because we were just playing so much. And that map like was all right,
Right.
but in this game so far, what we have Forge, Exposure, Cortex, Imprint, um,
Toshiba and Blackheart.
yeah, that's 6 maps, and these maps all feel good. And we know they're adding Express. We know they're adding Raid, Standoff. Like that's 9 maps
Yeah.
already.
I think that's what's got me most excited about this game is again because for me the biggest thing with Call of Duty is the maps being able to play on maps that I can continuously play throughout the year. Um, because if you have maps that are kind of weak, you're it doesn't matter how good the game actually plays, you're gonna get sick of them, you know. But from what we've already seen, the maps are way better than anything that we've had in recent years. I mean, I really do feel that. I think these are probably the best maps that we've had since Black Ops or since Cold War. Like from new maps, of course. You know, people be like, "What about the MW3 maps?" You know, like that's its own thing.
Mhm.
Um, but for completely new maps, they've really nailed it. And it plays phenomenally well with the actual gameplay itself. And you know that was like the selling point on this game for me. Is like if they didn't have that, if the maps were shit, I wouldn't be saying this. I wouldn't be talking that highly about the game. You know, I'd be doing a lot of, we'll
Mhm.
see, we'll see what they put out when the full game comes out. But no, but from what we got from the beta, I'm like, "Yeah, I love it. Like, I really, really enjoy it. I just wish I had more time to be playing it, but yeah, but I love all the maps that they've added. Everything about it is really, really good. So yeah, I hope with like going back on my thing, I hope with the full launch of the game that we find the vast majority of the other maps that are going to be in there are in the same kind of vein. They're all really top tier maps. There's none in there that are just like, oh yeah, this is terrible. Like, what were they thinking when they made this map?
Yeah, and this year, I don't know. It reminds me of Cold War a bit, like going into it, where I was like, I don't know. We had like a down year already, like MW. Even though a lot of fans came, like you and I just didn't like that game, and then Vanguard didn't like it. Um, and hindsight, right? We had like years later where we're like, oh man, Cold War was like amazing, and we were like regressed. But I went into Cold War like Treyarch has got to like hit this to bring back the excitement. And I went in like still nervous about it, played the game, and you and I were just bad at the game, and we were like, dude, what is wrong with us? This game
Right.
sucks. And then
Right.
we played, we got better, and now it's like one of our favorite like CODs, like in recent years. Um, that's how I feel like going into this game. And in Cold War, I'm like, you just can't give up on Treyarch. Like they made it work. And this year, it seems like this is actually Treyarch. They are making it work. They're listening to us, and you know they're giving us like so much content already. Like just to get into the game mode, they created Overload. I don't know if you had a chance to play that.
Oh, I've been
Um,
playing that a ton.
yeah, dude, that's a fun game mode. Granted, I don't think it's going to work for competitive at all, but it's
Right.
designed to be a competitive mode. Like when they're thinking about it, um, and like trying to make it, it makes sense, right? But it it seems like when they thought about creating a new competitive mode, they didn't bring any competitive players in mind uh designing this game mode. Fun game mode, but there are definitely things when I was playing it and I'm not even a pro player where I'm like, this is not viable. You shouldn't have this. Like,
Right.
in the game. Like when you pick up the EMP, your character cannot be highlighted. Like it's just
Yeah.
free for people to like know where you are.
Yeah. No,
Um
it's a little fugazi.
the two flags, like I think it gets like a bit like weird when you have only 4v4. You got two flags that you have to like put the EMP at. Where it's if it was just like 1-1,
Yeah,
It's
in
like,
6v6 it works, like it's fun. But
yeah,
yeah, if you're gonna be playing
casually, I think it does.
4v4,
Yeah.
like what are you gonna do? You're gonna have like one guy on each site trying to like defend it, and then everybody else is gonna be chasing him down. And again, to your point, yeah, I mean it's basically capture the flag. It's capture the flag
Yeah.
with 2 points.
Mhm.
But yeah, I hear you. It would be fun to have something like that in competitive, but again, it's like they kind of missed the mark with yeah, it would not work at all. Like in 4v4, there's no chance that that's going to be something that makes sense.
Mhm.
It would just be hella slow, but it is fun to play that mode again. I love it for pubs. I think it's a really really good one.
Mhm.
And again, most of the maps are small enough where it is fun to play. I did play it on Imprint, and Imprint has in some of the spawns, it's got a little bit of extra room back there, like we were talking about. There's,
Mhm.
I think I can't remember which side it's on, But there's one of the sides that it's like, yeah, there's a little bit of extra room there. I'd say that's one of the larger kind of maps that they got going on, even though still it's really not that big in hindsight. But yeah, I don't know. I like playing it in pubs, but beyond that, I don't think it's really going to make much of an appearance.
Yeah, because I know that's like the push right now. It's a huge push to be the third game mode, but
Yeah.
you can't highlight the character that is holding the EMP. That's just like free. You know what I mean? It's completely free knowledge for the other team to know.
Or for me too, I was thinking maybe give him like, I mean, maybe this is insane, but I was like, maybe give him like an extra like 50 health or like 25 health or something like that. If you're going to be carrying it, if you're going
Hmm.
to be highlighted like that, you should maybe get a little bit of extra health. But,
Hmm.
um,
Well, because
yeah,
like yeah, like I'm just thinking, you and I, we're not pros, but when we're playing ranked, we know where people spawn. Like if you're giving us a character where we can see through walls, we're taking advantage of that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like we're gonna kill that person somehow.
yeah, yeah,
And then yeah, but I do like that they thought about, you know, they created Control, huge hit for us. We enjoyed Control, and now they're trying to innovate and create like another game mode. But who knows? Maybe they take feedback from pros, and they're like, we don't want two flags, we want one, and we don't want to highlight the character, things like that. Maybe they change the game mode. Who knows? I'm sure if they can get rid of doors, they can get rid of like two flags and the highlights and stuff too.
yeah. No, they could definitely like in the current state, there's no way it'll be for competitive. But to your point, yeah, they could definitely make some small changes that would end up having a huge impact on the way the game plays.
Mhm.
And then it could be potentially viable for competitive because it is so fun to play that mode. Like I
It's
can't again really,
teamwork.
yeah, I can't remember dude, and it's usually a blowout, bro.
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
it's like usually like we'll be 8-0 in people, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we get to halftime, and I'm like, do you guys even know what we're playing right now? Like, come on.
Yeah. Got to move as a
Uh,
unit.
but yeah, it's weird because usually that's a mode that like when they add that in other games or they have some like, odd mode other than kill confirmed and like hardpoint and standard stuff. Um, I usually would never want to play it. But having, getting it's like forced into it because there's sometimes you just go in and it's like, oh yeah, that's all you're playing. I'm like, all right, let's see how this is. It's
Mhm.
actually really fun. So yeah, to your point, just a game mode that they add in here, and new to the game, new to the whole series, and it's a W. Like it's a really fun mode. Um, I do hope to what we were saying before that they make some changes because it would be fun to watch it in competitive, but we'll
Yeah.
have to wait and see if they make those changes.
Yeah. Because it's something new. And I mean, if they already removed doors, clearly they're taking feedback. So it'd be nice to see, a new game mode. And I only tried playing it because I heard that, they really emphasize like competitiveness in this game mode. You
Right,
know, I'm like,
right.
okay. And they thought about like the design of the game mode itself. So that's why I tried it. And, it is fun, especially if, you're just jumping in pubs with like a group of like, five other guys or whatever. And you have to move as a unit to basically drop the EMP at your flag or whatever. But I enjoy it. And speaking of competitive, I noticed too in this update, they added the hard point rotations back. Like it pops up now for the next hill
Oh
instead
yeah,
of what it was before where you had to like guess, well not guess, you just
right.
had to memorize where it was, where I'm not really like indifferent or anything about it. It's like whatever, but maybe I don't know, maybe I wasn't paying attention enough, but I don't think there was like the normal 10-second like counter onto the next hill. Like when you rotate it shows next hill and it counts down when the hill's
Yeah,
gonna pop. I think it just showed like where the next hill was like a couple seconds before on the map, and it would just pop. That was it.
yeah. I'm not too sure. I can't remember what it was when we were first playing, but those are things that, like, to me, it I don't really know. It bothers me a little bit just
Mhm.
because I would like it to be like that extra bit that you need to be paying attention to, um, where you have to kind of memorize them. But arguing against that point, if you have 10 seconds and you're on the hill, and you're not rotated already to that next hill, you're fucked. You know, like
Yeah.
if you're trying to take it seriously, like if you're trying to play rank play, you should already be knowing, by like 20 seconds or so,
Mhm.
okay, like you got to be rotating, you got to be securing spawns for next. You already know where that hill is. Um, if you're playing it in pubs, I would assume that they probably have that on there just because they want to make it an easy way for people to learn the hills and whatnot. But it is different from back in the day where, yeah, it would just go down to 0 and then it would randomly pop up somewhere else. And you have to be like, okay, that's P2. Okay. So it's
Yeah, yeah.
all the way over there,
Well, and again, to be fair, it's not that hard to memorize, but
It's
like
5 hills. It's not yeah, it's
yeah,
not hard.
I'm sure I'd love to see the data points of the open betas right now, like currently when we're recording, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I'm thinking, all right, they didn't implement, the where the hill pops on the next hill, right?
Yeah.
And for the pre-orders, because I'm assuming the people that pre-order the games are people like us, like true Call of Duty fans. We're just
The
playing like
nerds.
every single year. We're already gonna memorize the hard points no matter what.
Right.
Versus, all right, it's open beta now. All the people that want to try out of Call of Duty and all the casual players, let's add this like hill time of like when the next rotation is and help those players out. But also, I wonder if it increases the amount of OBJ time per player. Because you and I know hardpoint, like right now, no one's hopping on hill. No one's playing OBJ because it's a
Right.
beta and everyone's trying really hard. But even like
Awesome.
when it's not on the beta, like it's no one's hopping on hill. Whereas
Right.
I wonder how much adding that 10-second like rundown to the next hill is, how uh much more people are actually hopping on the hill because they know where the hill is now.
Yeah, I wonder how much of an impact it's really had. I mean, dude, I will say still though, like even with that stuff being added in the game, bro, people still don't go for the hill at all. Like
No, yeah,
even
I,
though
I
you have that in there, it's like I would hope that it would encourage people to do it, but you know, it's still like you always get in pubs. You're always gonna get the mindless people who just like only go for kills and
mhm,
they don't do anything regarding the OBJ. Like it's the same when playing was it what you say was it Overload? Is it the game of
yeah,
it? Yeah, it's the same thing. Like I'm not always running on the hill or running trying to get the bomb, or what would they call it? Like the payload? Is that what they call it again? I can't remember
the
the term
EMP.
for it. Yeah, the EMP. Like I'm not always trying to get it, but usually in a game, I'll get it once, once or
Mhm.
twice. But there's usually one guy who's just slamming it, and then everybody else, like, you know,
Not trying to
never.
support.
Yeah, like they never even bother with it, and I'm like, okay, it's
Well,
kind of
yeah, that's like what happens when you're playing in an objective game mode. But I also think it's just our lobbies too.
yeah,
Like I think casual COD players, they are trying to play the objective. Maybe
yeah,
that's just me. I think the level that you and I are at, like we play more than the average like COD player, and we watch competitive too. All of us think our egos are so fucking high. We're too good at playing the objective. So let
right,
me go kill, and it's not happening. you know, like not everyone can slay. There's got to be people that play the objective too.
yeah,
You and I can put that aside where someone else is top fragging. All right, I'll go get like my 100+ time in hill. I don't care.
right,
I'll sit in the hill and collect the time as long as we win. But
right,
even if you don't watch the CDL or you're competitive, people still don't care because they think they're too good. They're like, I need to go for a bunch of kills. Then we lose. And they're like, I dropped 70+ kills. Why did we lose? Because those kills didn't matter. That's
right,
why it did.
right,
That's why we lost. Where
yeah,
you and I,
exactly.
we're just at the point where we want to win. It doesn't matter how we win. We just got to win.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we were when on the first day of the beta, there was one of the maps we were playing late in the night, and I was getting fried, and I was like, all right, let me just hop on hill here, like let me just be that guy. I'll go and get like 160, 170 seconds in the hill. and make up for it. But there's either the people who, even if you are top fragging and your team's losing, they're just going to be like, dude, team, you got to pick it up. I'm like, well, brother, you might have to just slow down on kill whoring and you might have to hop on the hill because your teammates might be completely hopeless.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
there's the people who are hopeless trying to get kills and they, regardless, they just still keep running
Mhm.
and they never have that conscience to be like, you know what? Maybe you should slow it down, bro. Maybe you should just stay on the hill and get the like, defense kills.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it got hard too with that because with the skill based in this game, which is still kind of the biggest contention with it. Um, you get a mixed bag of people who are just constantly going for kills. Or you've got, and again, maybe you get a game where, yeah, these guys all play ranked and they kind of have that mindset of, yeah, there's guys who are clearly the best players on the team and they're just going to be getting kills. And they're kind of subliminally telling everybody else, like, I got this. Like,
Yeah.
win the game for us, but I got the kills. I'll get the streaks and I'll help out. Um, but I guess that point, something else that they added in, which was a big thing for people, is they added this open mosh pit,
Mhm.
which they say it right in the description of it, like it's way lighter on the skill based matchmaking. You get a chance to be playing in this.
Yeah, I played last night.
It's fucking noticeable,
Yeah, it's noticeable.
big time.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, why is it not always that?
Mhm.
That's my thing. Again, COD, COD always used to be you'd play one or two games, you're feeling good, you play a guy that's really good on the other team, you get kind of checked, like not like you're lost, like you're just like, okay, there's people out there that are better than me, and then you go to the next game and you're playing some people that are kind of in the middle and you're like always hanging around there. Again, it was a variety. Not what it was like when we played day one of the beta, where you play 3 or 4 games and they're like, oh, yeah, you're godlike. Okay, let's punish you. Let's put you up against these guys who are going to be, in the challengers pit next year,
Mhm.
which
Like you
no
yeah.
one wants to be dealing with that. And even with this new playlist that they've got, it is way more that mix. I stay in there because it doesn't seem like I'm not stomping people every match. I'm getting more of that mix of there's good lobbies that I play, like where the guys are good competition. And then there's some where, like I think when I played, there's maybe one or two of them where like these guys, I was kind of concerned, like they got no hands.
Mhm.
But I don't mind that. I think that's how it should be. I don't think you should be going into lobbies where, yeah, you're stomping everybody every single game. And I also don't think you should be going into lobbies where you're always the worst person every single time, unless Black Ops 7 is your first Call of Duty ever, which in that
Mhm.
case, yeah, you're going to be the worst player always. But it just needs to be a balance, have me get cooked sometimes and let me cook. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Because we shouldn't be punished because we like to play competitively. Like
Right.
day one, yeah, obviously there's gonna be a bunch of people that reorder that try really hard, but we have to try hard every single game, like
Right.
constantly. Like we're basically playing ranked in pubs, and
Right.
where it's like you said, it should just be a mix of people. You know, whatever skill level you are. And that's just how you get better too. It's not like it's not fair if you're new to Black Ops 7 and you're playing up against like a team of 5 and they clearly play ranked or whatever and you're just getting stomped over and over and over again. I would hate that, you know, like, and you're just only getting that. But you
Mhm.
need to be in a lobby with a mix of people like your skill level and then people a little bit, better than you. And that's how you progressively get better at the game. But where you and I think like I don't think any player at the point like depending on the game, we're like, at our peak level until the end of the year, right? Like you
Yeah.
and I have so much more room to get better at this game, but we're not going to see those improvements right away if we're just playing uh ranked basically in pubs every single game and got to try so hard when, you know, we're just trying to have fun. And
Right.
that's how you come back and then you want to play and get better again because you finally pub stopped, you know, and then you want to try to replicate that again instead of just like sweating.
Yeah, there's a difference between those who when they play COD, they want to play competitively and like, they're always trying to play for the win. And then there's the people who, again, casually, they just want to go on and they want to have fun.
Mhm.
They want to do well, but I don't think that personally correlates to I want to be stomping every single game.
Mhm.
It's exactly like what I was saying it was back in the day where it was a variety of matches that you'd get. You'd have some games where, yeah, you need to try a little bit harder than you normally would, or yeah, you're not going to do as well. And then there'd be the games where, yeah, there's maybe one guy who's kind of a challenge for you, but you can handle him. It doesn't do anything for the casuals when every single game, like when the game launched, you're getting put up against people who are clearly better than you, and you're getting screwed every match. You know, Even it doesn't matter how good the maps are, it doesn't matter how good the gameplay, gunplay, whatever you want to say. It doesn't matter how good it is. Like if you're getting fried every match, you're not having fun. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? You gotta there's like for those people, there's still basics and stuff that you've got to learn and just get to grips with before you really start trying to push it a little bit with the skill. Um, and yeah, this playlist that they added, I mean, it does that perfectly. It really it gets you like into the flow of what you need to be doing again, and it's what it was. It's what Call of Duty had always been, and I think they need to just make whatever they've got in that mosh pit. I'm like, dude, make that the standard. Like,
Mhm.
don't I don't know if they should separate it into different settings like they have now. I'm like, dude, they should make that the standard. And if you want to be competitive and potentially get fried, go play your placement matches in ranked, and then you'll find out where you're at. You're always going to be
Mhm.
playing people in bronze that are bronzes. You know, like for us, we cap out around like diamond, low crim. That for us is like that's our skill based in Black Ops 7. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? We're
Yeah.
playing those people. Those guys always push us every match that we play, and we know that because it's why we play ranked. If we don't want to deal with that, then we don't play ranked.
Oh yeah, and I'm not trying to play ranked when I'm in pubs. That's
Exactly. I
and
want I want 2 different
yeah,
things. I don't wanna be dealing with
yeah,
it. I want 6v6 ranked and then 4v4 ranked.
yeah, yeah. And when I'm going in ranked, like, yeah, you always want to play a level like above you, so then you get better.
Yeah,
Obviously,
you
that's how
have to.
you get better.
Yeah.
And then if you're in ranked, and dude, there are players that we've played that are in crim and they got carried all the way to crim. They
Right.
don't know what they're doing at all. So all that stuff, like, it doesn't correlate sometimes, you know. And then when you go to pubs, like, it should just be random. And you don't, like you said, you don't want to just load in, sweat every single time just to play pubs, but also you don't want to, you know, you're new, you go 20-10 and you think you're a god at the game, but you're also playing everybody that's new at the game. They don't know what they're doing. They're not getting any better.
Right.
Um, and I'm sure Treyarch is doing this on purpose. Like, they're collecting all the stats on this, where it's an open beta now. Like, let's see how it performs versus with skill based, like whatever, cranked up versus this mosh pit. Like, how many people are like enjoying this versus, you know, trying really, really hard and skill based.
Right. And I find that I say fine. I wouldn't be surprised that the vast majority of players are in this open mosh pit,
Mm-hmm.
Like that's where most people are gonna be hanging because for us, like we've been playing Call of Duty for over a decade now, and that's how it's always been for us. That's the experience, and that's like the classic Call of Duty experience. And again, like tying all this shit, like dude, this game is giving us like the classic stuff that people want. They want good maps, they want good gunplay, they want like again for the pubs, they want like what they've always had, and that is what this is.
Mm-hmm.
And I was surprised that they added this in. I remember our buddy texted about it, and I didn't really understand what it was. But then when I started seeing on Twitter and actually playing it, I was like, "Oh my god, dude! Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this game is even more enjoyable now. Like, this is what it should be." Because again, for us, that first day, I mean, we capped out. Like, we got to the
Mm-hmm.
point where, yeah, those matches, every one of them we were playing, every name we played was like, one syllable. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, forget it. Like, we're playing the tricks with a
Yeah.
Y. Like, yeah, this guy's gonna fry us, like, no
Mm-hmm.
doubt, you know. Um, and yeah, it just helps out with the longevity of the game. If you're gonna be playing it and you're having fun and it's a good variety of, games where you're learning and games where, you are the top guy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, That's gonna keep people going in the pubs, which is that's their main thing. Ranked is not their main thing. It's
Mhm.
gonna be the public players, the casuals.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, I'm sure Treyarch's tracking like all this data, but if they're like trying to build a case where I'm just thinking behind the scenes, right? Like whoever the overlords at Activision are, like, you have to push skill based, right? That's what the people want. And Treyarch is like, no, they've been saying this for years, whatever. Like, no, this is not what players want. They don't want
Right.
this. And whoever above them is like, no, it doesn't matter what you think. And now they're like, okay,
It
with
doesn't
this
matter.
beta, let's collect all the data for obviously pre-orders versus open beta. Like that's a big difference. Like the
Yeah.
people that pre-order it, like yes, I expect it to load into the game and have to try hard. No one's pre-ordering COD in 2025 that's not, trying to get good at COD. Open beta, this is anyone. It's completely free. There's going to be a big difference of the skill level of people coming in from the open beta, and I'm sure I'd like Treyarch's just building a case that's like, hey, look, here are the people that pre-ordered, here are the people that came in open beta. Everyone's having more fun without the skill based in this Moshpit. Like more people are going to this versus the traditional, like not traditional, but what skill based has been for the past couple of years. And they're like, here, look at this data, let us switch it. And if they still say no, that's a problem.
Right, right. I mean, you go on Twitter and you see, all the people that we like, and I get a whole bunch of people that come up in my For You page that are like, yeah, they're Call of Duty people, but I don't know who they are. And they all say the same thing. It's like these changes, like this one, like with the skill based, and same thing with the tax sprint changes. Like this is stuff that people have been asking for years. And the fact that they've finally done it, you see most people always praising them, being like, thank God you finally did one of the things that we've been asking for years. Again, granted, I hope with the tax sprint, they just completely get rid of that perk, like it needs to be dead and gone. They need to cut the cord on that. But even just things like that, two things that have been, the standard for years in this title and in the game, they finally make a move to maybe go against that, and everybody loves it.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping to your point when if they present this data to, the overlords there, and and hopefully it's a message for all the other developers of Call of Duty that are going to be going along after them, that this is what people want. This is a successful title because of these changes.
Mhm.
We really focused on this style of maps. We've made sure that, okay, tax sprint, they don't want it. Okay, so let's get rid of it. All right, the doors, they complained about that. Let's get rid of them. Let's set our ego aside and the standard stuff that's been like, part of Call of Duty's problem all these years, all the cookie cutter stuff that, yeah, Vanguard to MW2 to MW3, basically being a reskin from year to year. When they start to make big changes like this that have an impact on the game itself, um, they need to listen to that stuff because, the community responds. I see it all the time. I'm sure you do too. People are, for the most part, praising this game about how much better it is than what we've had in previous years.
Mhm.
Um, and they just need to follow that going forward. If they do that, then we're going to be in a good cycle for a couple of years
Mhm.
with COD. But that's the worry, this is Treyarch. Who
Mhm.
knows when any of their developers, they might be like, well, when we made our title, 4 years ago, it
Yeah.
sold pretty well, so we're gonna do that, and it's like,
Mhm.
forget
Yeah.
it.
Treyarch listens, and again, I haven't. Obviously, there's some negative stuff like on social media about this game, but overall, I would say people are enjoying this game. And if there is any negative content about this game, it's because Call of Duty has built a reputation the past couple of years of how bad it was and not listening to the fans. That they're like what you said. I'm just burnt out. Like I don't want to play the game, which is a shame when Treyarch comes in and they're like, look, we're giving you a really good game, but the other developers missed the mark on it, and they lost fans because of that. Where Treyarch again coming in, trying to swoop in and bring everyone back is like, wait a minute, you know, we made a good Call of Duty. We're going back to what COD was. And the other developers are like, well, sorry. We just
It's a
lost
classic
everything
case
here.
of Boy Who Cried Wolf. Every
Mhm.
year, this is the COD, this is the COD, this is the COD, and a
Mhm.
lot of people who buy into it every year, and they're like, no, it's not, no, it's not, and now they're over here, Treyarch saying this is the COD, and I don't blame those people saying, I'm not buying it, but you know, again, for us, we buy every COD
Mhm.
every year, and comparatively from all the previous years, I'm like, you know what? There actually might be some truth to this. Like, this is a really good title. They actually did listen to a lot of the things that we wanted to. It's not totally there yet,
Mhm.
but in my opinion, it's a massive step in the right direction for the series.
Yeah, and I'm hoping too with this is the first year that they've done like pre-orders and then open beta like back to back. What they did in previous years was one weekend was pre-orders and then the following weekend would be open beta. There would be like a week in between. And this year there wasn't that. And I'm thinking the week in between was for these developers to like gather the data and then fix whatever, feedback that they got. Treyarch said, screw that. We're going to get live feedback now and make the changes live. So,
Right.
just back to back to back. And that's great for the community. And on top of like making these changes, which again, I don't even think they're going to do the doors. Like, that's crazy to me that they
Yeah.
just straight up got rid of doors.
Yeah.
I
Me
thought it
too.
would be better for them to make the doors open with me throwing attack or like nade, whatever.
Right.
But on top of that, they released zombies too. It was not a
Mhm.
full zombies map, but I played it a couple times. I've
Okay.
exfilled twice,
What'd you think?
both times. I mean, like, it's not classic zombies where you spawn in with like a pistol or whatever, which
Right.
whatever. But
Disappointing.
this is like the map that it's in. I don't know if it's a real map or if it's more like a training course map, because a map is literally one section. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Like it's one big circle. It's so small.
Gotcha.
Uh, but like it's kind of fun because it's hard. Um, it's called Van Dorn Farm, and it's literally like you spawn in, you have the power right next to you, you have a broken house and a barn. That's it.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Okay.
it's so small. Um, and there is no goal. The goal is survive as long as you can, and like everything is within like walking distance from you in the game. Like,
Gotcha.
you're not running to like the other side of the map or anything.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
all within, you can get to the other side of the map in like 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I might even be exaggerating with that. Maybe 5
Yeah,
if it's
I hear what you're
small.
saying. It might be like something they just put together to be like,
Mhm.
here's what you can kind of do to experience what we've
Yeah,
got in
yeah.
store for zombies. Yeah, no, I
And
hear you. We'll have to
I'm
try it.
yeah, I mean, I liked it. I'm not part of the zombies community or anything. Like, I'm not gonna say, "Oh, zombies is back," because honestly, I don't think it is. I don't think we're gonna get the classic stuff back. But I will say that it seems a bit darker um this time around and like scarier, I guess, in terms of the
Okay.
zombies and like the feel of it. Because in the exfil, basically this giant yeah, you exfil, then this giant like bear spawns in. And you have to kill this bear. And keep in mind, you're in this small little circle, basically.
Right.
You have this bear and then zombies running at you the entire time.
Right.
It's just like a shit show, to be completely honest. The first time I exfilled successfully, I don't know how I did, because I didn't like pack a punch anything. Like, I didn't have enough time. Um, but the first time I went, I hit the box, Ray Gun Mark II.
Of
I'm like, oh
course.
man, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so I'm sure that helped out a lot. But the exfil was like, it was good. I died like 2 times trying to do it, but
Yeah.
you know, I think it's good that they even released this, because normally we don't get any zombies content in general
Right.
early enough. So it still feels like what zombies was like in the previous years, but it does seem a bit darker. Um, the storyline, I am excited about that to see what Treyarch's going to do with it,
Yeah.
but it's good that they added it.
No, definitely. Again, it seems like, like kind of wrapping up with this whole with what we're talking about today. Like, it's really good that Treyarch they've been trying to give us as much content as they possibly can so we can give the most feedback that we can. That seems to be like their thought process with this. Again, they like you said, they're not having the open beta one weekend and then like the pre-orders have it a week before. They want everybody playing the game all together all the time to get as much as they can. They're adding more maps in than they normally would. They had the level cap in there. They add like double XPs going on right now. And then same thing with zombies. They want to have as much going on in the game, obviously to keep people playing the game and get them excited for it. But again, just to get as much feedback and data as they can on it, which has been it's been refreshing. It in general it's been refreshing that they've been listening to this feedback and responding to it quite quickly. Um, I hope for the sake of the zombies community that they get some changes quick, like we did on the multiplayer side.
Mhm.
But I'll have to go and play that zombies. I mean, that does sound crazy that you're saying that small like arena that they have there for it
Mhm.
at Van Dorn farm or whatever it is. But uh, yeah, I'll have to go and try it and see what it is. That would be kind of nuts if we're saying, oh yeah, this maybe is just something they whipped up really quick, and then the game launches and that's what it is. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa,
No, there I'm gonna say there's no way because this map, it's just like survival. Like you
yeah,
just go in, but I will say, I'm sure it's gonna be in launch, but I that is a great map for people that want to grind zombies camos.
yeah,
Like, we have our small maps and multiplayer to grind camos. Now zombies will have a small map to grind camos.
right,
Where again, it's like more AI, like robotic, like what you're doing, but it's more efficient on like a
right,
map that size.
right,
And I think what Treyarch's doing in terms of like the pre-orders and open beta, this just makes way more sense instead of doing it like one weekend, waiting a week, and then weekend after. Because, dude, well, when the you guys listen to this, the game's coming out in like essentially a month, right?
right,
If you look at it like processing wise, if they had a beta, last weekend for just pre-orders, and then they wait a week to implement, those changes on pre-orders, and now you have an open beta a week after for people that can, that just want to play the game for free. You have
yep,
that. Now you have like 3 weeks, if that, to make those changes for the launch of the game. And like, let's be honest, they're probably not going to make like crazy updates right away. But also, you have like two different like audiences. You have people that pre-order the game that like are really into Call of Duty, and then you have an open beta audience that they're trying out the game to see if they even want to purchase the game. So people that pre-order the game, like you and I, we might have very different opinions about the game for someone that's just playing in the open beta. That's We're trying to convince them to buy the game. Like at least with this, they have all the data of people that try really hard and people that, they're trying to convince to buy the game.
yeah. And to that point, um, the people like us who pre-ordered the game, we play the game a ton. We've been playing the game. Like that's going to be the vast majority of the people who pre-order it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, most of the stuff that we would say in the game, not all of it, but I would say even like on the competitive side too, like people like what they ask for is usually for the greater of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like those are the people who are the hardcore players who've always played over the years and have like, especially in the recent titles, and are probably going to give the most input regarding feedback. I guarantee you there's people who could be, completely like, they slam a couple Bud Lights, they play 2 games with their buddies, and that's like it for, 3 or 4 days. Like they barely play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, those guys, who knows how much input and especially too how vocal they're going to be about the game on any social media. They'll just play it and they'll be like, "Yeah, it's all right." Like they could have played the first version of the beta and been like, "Yeah, it's good. It's really really nice." But like when we did in our episode in
Mm-hmm.
241, or it was a 242 rather, um, we're over here saying like, "Yeah, there's a lot of really good things about this game, no doubt, but here's what they need to fix."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think they really took that to heart, being like, okay, these are the things that like the people who pre-order, who are serious about it, they say we need to fix. They're probably right. So let's go and do those things. So then the people in the open beta, who when they come in, they may not even question those things. They're like, yeah, this is really really nice. These maps play nice. The
Mm-hmm.
guns, the maps, etc. Everything that maybe they tweaked because of the feedback from the pre-orders.
Mhm.
Came to fruition, which again, really, really smart move by them. And I think it'll benefit them in the long run. I think this is going to be a successful year.
Yeah, yeah.
Regarding sales, it's going to be a good year, of course. COD's not going to have a bad year of game sales, but it's just going to come down to the longevity of the game, which
Yeah,
we shall see.
yeah. I agree with what you said too. Like, I don't think people that are playing the open beta are going to be like the doors.
Yeah,
The door, like throwing a nade, like they didn't realize that.
yeah,
It wouldn't open the door, things like that. So
they don't
to your
give a shit.
point, yeah, they're not going to realize that, but that's why I guess the super like COD fans that aren't pros or amateurs like you and I that are just like playing the
Just fans,
game,
yeah,
we give like arguably the best kind of input. The people that just play COD a lot that aren't trying to be a professional player or amateur,
right.
because we notice the doors, the
Well,
some of the perks, time to
yeah,
kill.
I mean, and man, I don't know. I think you're kind of granted that voice when you pre-order a game. I mean, I think you should get that in any game. When you pre-order a game, dude, you don't know what you're paying for. I
Hmm.
mean, you think about that. We're throwing $70 on a chance,
Hmm.
that this is going to be the year. We could have just got it and been like, wow, like what a waste.
Hmm.
Um, and they're trying to avoid that. They don't want people to be regretting the $70 that they just spent on a pre-order of a game that you know they have not played. And I'm sure that had a big influence on them too. It's like, okay, these guys who are doing this, like, they're big fans of the series. They obviously want the game to do well. Like, you're not pre-ordering Call of Duty if you're like, yeah, let me pre-order this stupid game.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this game. I hope it sucks. Like, no one's pre-ordering with that kind of mentality. Those are some of the people who are in the open beta,
Hmm.
you know? So they want to take the people who care about the game, give their feedback. So then those open beta people be like, you know what, this ain't too bad.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. um yeah, I mean, overall, I think so far the beta's been a success. When you guys listen to this, the beta will
Definitely.
be over and the game's going to be out in a little over a month when this comes out. So,
Looking forward to it.
uh, so far it's been good.
Mhm.
Treyarch's been listening to us, and thank God Treyarch's been listening to the community. I just hope they keep up with it. Obviously still a beta, but it's a good sign that they're doing this. Oh,
Definitely.
and on top of that, the CDL starting in December, early December. That's like 2 to 3 weeks right after game launch.
Mhm.
That's what should be happening, right? Like
Absolutely.
they're doing it right. And then the next step is whenever ranked comes out. If ranked comes out, no hackers or like very limited hackers compared to last year. Treyarch has hit like everything for us, and so
Yeah.
far it looks good. We're
Yeah,
on pace.
absolutely. It's looking good so far, but again, when the main game launches, that's when it's really gonna, obviously that's gonna be the real tell. This is only a beta, but
Hmm.
it has said a lot so far with the beta. So I'm excited, but they've got their work cut out for them regardless.
Yeah, yeah. I think Treyarch realizes that. Oh shit. The
Don't drop the ball.
Yeah, we can't drop the ball because other developers or whatever drop the ball, and now we have to come and save everything.
Right.
And they know that. All right, we didn't screw up, but
Right.
instead of just saying stuff to you guys, let's like prove it to you, and
Mhm.
then win you guys over again.
Absolutely.
So, thank you, Treyarch.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think we hit on everything that we wanted in
Yeah, I
Black
think
Ops
that's it,
7
bro.
so far. So I mean, yeah, guys, let us know if you played the beta and your thoughts on it. Especially if you played the open beta too, and like if you didn't pre-order it like us, like I'd love to hear what you guys think because realistically, you guys are the people that Treyarch's trying to win over to get the game right
Mhm.
away at launch. So let us know. But yeah, if you're also on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe over there. And we're also on anchor.fm/the COD Casuals, where we're on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all that stuff. And if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, we also clip it up and post it on Instagram and TikTok. So go over there and check it out. And also make sure to leave 5 stars on our podcast because it's going to help us out a ton. And we're
Mhm.
going into a really good COD year. So 5 stars only.
The
Get us to
support is
number one.
appreciated.
We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And more content to come.
Mhm.
Good COD year, good content. You and I are going to be good. Everyone listening in the
It's a
audience,
win-win.
we're
It's a
all going
win.
to be good. We'll
Yeah.
all be eating. So,
Right, right, right.
but yeah, Thank you, everyone. This has been episode 243 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Hey, take it easy, everybody.
See ya.